you go on a blind date and you find that your date has an ankle on her leg, do you continue with the date or do you make another decision on how you're going to deal with that situation? Either way, you got to make a decision. That decision may make your anyway. Why have we grown to accept life without any consequences? I mean, there are consequences to everything, especially this life that we live on a daily basis. First of all, let me welcome you to the Black News Network, formerly known as the Black News Network. We are reevaluating who we are and how we identify ourselves. So our new name is the People Information and News Network. And we called it this because it is no longer affiliated with the word Black or any other ethnic assumption of a name that they may have given us, because that's basically all it is. It's an assumption of a name that's given to us by the powers that are in control of this country. So we're the voice, we are the voice of the people. And we used to be BNN 247, but we had to get rid of that like in the news network. And that's what we did. So I want to welcome you to the People Information and News Network. We broadcast every Sunday at 5 p.m. and voila, it is 5 p.m. So I'm glad to be here with you. And I hope that you come into this forum and leave some comments and ask questions about some of the things that we may be discussing today. I'm your host, Brother War Smith-Bey, War being short for Warren. And you can also find us on the War Report on Facebook, or even my entire name, Warren Smith-Bey. I mean, I'll give you the information so you can come and see that this is a forum to give you information about who you are, where you are, what you are, and how you can overcome some of the things that they may put in front of you as you maneuver through this life. And as you know, the question of the day is, why are we so tolerant of what's happening here in America, and we are not implementing the consequences to what they have done or what they do to us? So I'm going to go through quite a bit of information today. And the information is not necessarily the local news, because the local news has a tendency to tell you the same BS over and over again. And it's not the truth. I mean, you can bang a lie into somebody's head constantly, and eventually they're going to start to believe it. That is why we find ourselves on an inferior basis here in America, because they have beat it into us that we are less than they are. And that is the absolute untruth of this entire situation. And the only way it can be changed, they're not going to change it. Why would they change something that they put in place? Because they do not want you on the same level as they are. So what would they do to keep you there? Nothing. And that's exactly what they are doing. Nothing to change the position of life that you as a Black or African American, or even a Moor, you're in. The only way you're going to do this is to change your status. You cannot walk around on a daily basis thinking that you're Black, thinking that you're African American, because you're not. You had something before they took it away during slavery. You need to go back to it, or at least find out what it is, and reconnect yourself. It's almost like you have a body that's disconnected from your body. And by doing that, you can never be whole. You will never be whole until you complete the circle. A circle goes 360 degrees. You've only went 180, 270 degrees. You still got a little bit more to go, but you got to complete the circle. And the circle is only pertaining to who you are in America. Now, I need you to do something for me. I need you to like my Facebook page because I mean, I've been out here trying to do this thing for an awful long time, and I want to see the results in your clicking on something in my Facebook page. I ain't that savvy with all this technology. I am savvy with my brain and what I need to communicate to this forum. So I'm asking you now to go to Facebook and like and subscribe and become my friend in Facebook. And don't forget YouTube. Now you can find me on Facebook at the War WAR Report or Warren Smith-Bey. Either one of those you can find. You can find it also at BNN 247. That's Bravo November 247. You can find me on YouTube with BNN 247 as well. And the same with Instagram, but it's BNN underscore 247. Go to these different places and like, subscribe, and do what you have to do to help me move forward on this platform. Now, I know it ain't going to be something everybody want to hear, but it's going to be something that's going to benefit you one way or another, whether you suck it up or listen to it or not. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that I have the ability to communicate this information to you. Now, if you want it, it's your choice. But I'm telling you, some of the stuff that I'm talking about today will benefit you. And that is the purpose of me being here. And that is the purpose of me asking you to be here as well. This is not a one-way communication situation. You can always reach out to me at 210-872-2261. You know, I try to be available so we can have that conversation. Now, this is something I usually do, but I didn't do it this time, but I'm going to set it up right now because I know I need to have this going as well. You know, that's just my, TikTok page. I want to get that going too. But today, as I said, we're going to talk about why are we so acceptance of all this stuff without consequences. It's something somebody going to have to pay. We just can't allow people to be walking on our backs and our necks and our head for years and years and never have to pay. Somebody going to have to pay. We bring the truth to power here at the People's Information and News Network. I want to welcome my YouTube viewers. I want to welcome my TikTok viewers, and I also want to welcome my Facebook viewers as well as Instagram viewers. If you have not went to that little tab down there and said, hey, I like what you're saying, I don't like what you're saying, I don't give a damn about what you're saying, say something that let me know that you came by to show me your support. And support is not always in a favorable condition. You can come in and cuss me out, and I still accept that as you joining the team. So thank you so much for listening to my introduction, but don't forget to subscribe. We bring the best knowledge we can to our people here in America, and all over the world for that matter, not just in America, but anywhere that there may be a situation where this information can be helpful for anybody. Now, again, you remember we're AKA, also known as BNN 247 on YouTube. We're bringing the truth to power, and that's going to be where we are trying to go. Have we become the expendable people? Because that's what it seems like. We're now just expendable people. Because no matter what happens, our lives have always taken on the last survivor, or the last of the least, or the first to go, the last to get hired, the first to get fired. I mean, it's the same thing. If this world happens to move in a direction where it's not going to go move forward, it's going to start moving backwards. You can rest your last dollar, Charlotte and Sander. You can bet your last dollar that Black Americans, African Americans, are on the bottom of the list. You are so low on this list of America, it is called the DEAD list. Now, if you don't think there's a DEAD list out there, go look it up and you may be able to find it. I found it. There is a DEAD list, and it doesn't talk about an individual, it talks about a class of people. It talks about a class of people. And that class of people just so happen to be this class right here. My class. We are the expendable people, the first to go. And they make it so easy for us to join the military now. It's a good thing. It's been easy for us to join, but it was hard for us to stay. Now it's very easy to join and hard to stay. It's very easy to join and very easy to stay because they need us on the front line of the military today. And that's where we're going. But I tell anybody out there that the United States military is a great place to start. Hear my words carefully. A great place to start. In other words, if you're 18, 17, 18, 19 years old and you ain't figured out which way you're going to travel, how you're going to live your life, what avenue you're going to pursue, then the military may just be the place for you. The only thing it's going to do is whip you into shape and give you some that discipline structure that you have, or enhance the discipline structure that you already have. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it won't. You won't know until you try. But the military is not a bad place for a young man to start. But when we're having wars like this, Vincent, I don't know, Michael. I don't know, Douglas. I don't know if we should be running the military. I spent 22 years there, 21 years there, and I'm very happy that I did serve my country and got that behind me. But I had no direction. I didn't know which way I was going. I went the way I thought was best for me. But I don't want us to be the expendable people. The reason I say we are the expendable people is because we have grown to accept. We have grown to accept what they spit out at us and take it in one ear and out the other one and not do a damn thing about it. A veteran, what you say? I didn't get that fast too fast. But Marty, glad to see you in here. User number 82 on down the line. Got too many numbers for me to try to read. But we, I just don't know what words to use to stress the fact that we have another direction that we need to be traveling in, and it ain't getting us nowhere because we are viewed as the expendable people, and because we're viewed as the expendable people, it puts us in a position where we can't make a change in the way this system is ran. We don't own corporations. We don't own our houses. They put us in a position to stay expendable. If we miss 2 house payments, guess what? You out. You can't afford to miss a house payment. Therefore, you can't afford not to go to work because you got to make your house payment, you got to make your car payment, you You got to keep the cable on for the kids so they can surf the internet. We've grown to accept that these things are what we have to do in life. I'm glad it's a thing. I'm glad to see you back. You are my brother in Christ and two, but you're stretching it back. What do you mean, brother in Christ? How do you know? You don't. What you know is that I'm a human being, and that you assume that I follow the King James version of the Bible. However, you're wrong. I think you need to regroup that and think about what you're saying, because it's a thing that we just migrate into this whole system of religion that's taught to us when we were 4 and 5 years old, and we just grow up in it and we accept it like that is the way it is. I mean, who knows if what you're saying is true? I respect you as a human being, and thank you. I respect you too. That's the we got mutual respect. So I appreciate that. See, that's the kind of people I like talking. People that are on a particular level and they know where they are. They know who they are. We have grown, though. We have grown to accept people for who they are. That's a growth note mark right there. When we can say, hey, we agree to disagree. Let's keep it moving. Keep a smile and keep it happy and not get into a debate about it when we don't have to. You need my help on the side of the road, I will stop no matter who you know. Of course, I think like that too. But in today's society, that's certain things I just ain't gonna do, and that's one of them. You know, if it's a strong possibility that I can help, I would help. But if the possibility can be questioned that you actually need help, then I'm gonna make a decision. More likely, I'm gonna keep it moving, because everybody know what their responsibilities are. See, that's what I'm saying. Some people are grown to accept that somebody's gonna stop and help them because they are good Christians out there still. But see, a person that has not grown to accept that particular fact will have AAA, and they'll get on the phone and say, "Hey, AAA, I got a flat. Can you come fix it?" That's what you'll do when you're in a situation where you're not dependent on on things that don't matter in your life. You don't have time to be stopping to help nobody off the side of the road. You going somewhere right now. You're not just out there riding around. I don't. If you're just out there riding around, yeah, stop and help them out. But the bottom line is, if you're a responsible person and you have not grown to accept that somebody's going to stop and give you their resources to help you get off the side of the road, then you should have had AAA or Geico or Allstate or State Farm or somebody that can give you the insurance, to give you a roadside coverage. It's too easy to have those things in place. And when you choose not to have those things in place, then you suffer the consequences. And the consequences are you paying 3 times what you would pay if you didn't have, if you had AAA. You're paying a lot. You're paying your one payment for that tow truck is going to be enough for a whole year's subscription to AAA. We have grown to accept that somebody is going to do it for you. Somebody going to do it. You ever been around people where they have grown to accept the condition that if I complain enough to this person about my problems, they will take on my problems and help me with them. We need good people more than ever. Absolutely. I agree. I don't think it would be nice to leave somebody stranded on the road. I would probably help them too, but I'm telling you the facts. Even though I know that your ass, I'm sorry, I don't usually use that, but you ought to have enough sense to know that your car needs tires. You ain't got enough gas to go from here to Dallas, from San Antonio to Dallas, right now. So you absolutely gonna run out of gas. You're gonna stop somewhere, and somebody gonna stop to help you because somebody got the time to do that. But some of us who are woke, they stop at the jack because we don't intend for our car or our transportation method to break down on the highway. That's why we spend so much on insurance and we spend so much on our car to keep it up and running where it don't break down, where I don't have a flat, where I don't run out of gas. I can't tell you the last time in life I ran out of gas. And it ain't because I'm well to do. I'm not well to do. I'm just an average old Moor trying to survive here in America. Used to be black man, but I ain't no more. I am a Moor. That's why my name is Warren Smith-Bey, not Warren Smith and Bro. That's my slave name. And when I added the extension to the name change process, I connected myself back to my ancestors before the slaves. My dad said that families would help each other out if someone lost their job. Absolutely. Now that is absolutely right. I think that's what. I'm sorry if I got you there. Families are to help each other. But one thing I'll tell you about USA, we're not about that. We're about individualistic growth. One person, by the way, my name is Abraham. It's a thing. Right. That's got that right. But America does not teach. It teaches individuality. As Elon Musk, who became the world's richest man, one man now with more money than half the country. He got enough money to pay everybody, half of the population of the United States, $100,000 salary for a year. He got that much money to pay everybody. We split by race too much, and that's black people all as much as white. You doggone right about that. It's black people's fault because we ain't stupid enough to allow white folks to keep getting over on us the way they've done for 300-400 years. You know, the white folks have had the chance to get out of our way for a long time. But have they gotten out of our way? No. They have doubled down on everything that they are trying to do to hinder us from being the successful people that we are. You cannot stop a freight train like that. Even though you put slavery in front of us, you put Jim Crow in front of us, you put black codes in front of us, you put redlining in front of us, you put segregation in front of us, you put welfare in front of us, you put all this stuff in front of us to hold us back. Put all that in front of us to hold us back, to keep us from overcoming where you have, because you can't go no further. It is wise to blame a victim for being a victim. There's no such thing as a victim in this situation. This is straight out racism. That's what that is. And that is how you determine the difference between being a victim and being a stepping stone. Black people have been here all their lives, even before they got here. And then they come in and take what they want and then write a law so you can't get it. Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. And like I said, this is where truth comes to power in the People's Information and News Network. That is the purpose of this show. When you're saying I'm wrong, I would love for you to tell me why you think I'm wrong. Okay. Tell me something. Let me know why you think I'm wrong, because what I'm saying to you is the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. nobody wants to admit that we have been held back every step of the way. You didn't write. I mean, when the American Constitution was formed, all those amendments, 27 amendments to the Constitution, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, didn't do a damn thing for black people. Didn't do anything for us. Blacks have been given a free ride for 40 years. 40 years. All right. I like that one. Yeah, you gave us a free ride, all right. Along the way, you beat the mess out of us and unalived us and put us in prison. Who do you? If you feel like that, ain't nothing I can say to you to change your mind because you've been bamboozled and whooped all your life and you don't know no better. That's why you say what you gotta say. Of course, Newsom. What you don't agree with? I don't agree with. I don't agree with that watch. What did you watch? You watch Roots? You know what happened when Roots was shown? Everybody got mad. See, when you go to a funeral, right? When you go to a funeral, what you're doing is you're going to view the person that is about to be buried. So my question to the American people, the people of melanation, the melanin people, yeah, I commend you and thank you for your service in the Navy. That's nice. I did my time with the U.S. Army. Anyway, we go to funerals to view people, but as a entire culture of black people, that's what I'm calling us black because that's what most people think they are. I'm telling you, not black, you are more. You don't even know it, but you are. But you have to reclaim your birthright. And if you don't ever do that, then you stay black and you stay African American because you have not claimed your birthright. And see, that's why they're going after birthright citizenship. You know, they're going to deal with some people here in America. And I'm sorry that this is coming down the pipe, but it's coming. And you just may be a target, even if you're black, if you have not claimed your birthright. Because this is how that works. Now, when the Civil War ended, there were thousands of Confederate soldiers who were supposed to be prisoners, in my opinion. Same with January 6th. They were supposed to be prisoners. But the Lincoln was assassinated, then Johnson took over. And so Johnson decided that the agreement that Lincoln had made with the yeah, I understand she worked really hard. That's a real situation. Some of us work, we clawed, no matter what they put in front of us, we worked and clawed our way to the top, and we made it. We got over the hump. We were able to survive successfully in this country, and I commend your mom and anybody else that were out there doing it that way. What you do, your home. You have a good personality. You're easy to communicate with. Thank you so much. I try. It's so much going on in today's life. You have to be able to deal with different situations. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to move. And there's another word, and I ain't gonna say it on TikTok, but it starts with an S. Are we being viewed as melanated people? Because we're not being seen. You hear what I say? We're not being seen. So I don't understand that. So what have you been doing your whole life? I've been advocating for people to get out of our way. I'm not advocating for equal rights. I'm advocating for people to get out of black people's way or African Americans' way or Moors' way and allow us to be whoever and to do whatever we choose to do. The biggest issue is you have been so good at restricting the movement and the progress of our people that right now in America, less than 1% of corporate America's businesses are owned by the descendants of slaves. That's what I am. Are you a descendant of slaves? And who's in your way? Ain't nobody in my way because I'm going to make my way every day. That's a good question, though. That's a great question. You can't tell me exactly what they said when they let us off the plantation. Pull yourself up by your bootstrap. That's not happening. That's not going to happen. You saying you got 250, 300 years head start on us and say, okay, y'all slaves, y'all free now. Get off the plantation and go your way. Pull yourself up by your bootstrap. That's what you said. That's what you said. How gullible, how stupid do you really sound? All right. I don't get angry. I like to get excited when I talk. So that's not anger. That's passion. But I'm not angry. Thank you for saying that and bringing me back to normality. I appreciate that. But you cannot expect the same. I'm going to try to go on through this thought I was having about the slaves come off the plantation and the Confederate soldiers, and Johnson said, give me them 40 acres and that mule back. And out of 100,000 acres given away, he did get some of it back. He got a lot of it back. He took that land back from black folks, and a lot of black folks fought. And I don't know if you heard of the Black Seminoles. Black Seminoles are the real Indians that fought and won against the federal government here in this country in Florida. Most people don't know about that, but I know. I know about it. So that's the issue. They took that land back and they gave it to them Confederate soldiers that had just got to fighting America. White folks. You know, with some blacks there with too fighting with, but they were fighting on the edge of being. Are you aware how many multi-millionaires there are in this country? Yes, they're in the top 10% of this country. But 90% of us ain't got enough to survive day to day. Some of us need a year, but the majority can survive 3 months without having to go to the government for assistance. Because it's not, you say black millionaires, there's a lot of black millionaires, but they fall in that 10% like everybody else does. But I guarantee you, 99% of those black millionaires are athletes, entertainers. That's the only industry that black people have become millionaires in. It's not the only industry, but 80 to 90% of all the black millionaires came to be millionaires through the entertainment industry. Music, sports, what else? Music and sports. That's it. What else are there? I mean, tell me a black millionaire that didn't get their music other than Clarence Thomas. Yeah, it doesn't matter how they did it, but it matters that this is the only avenue that the white Americans allow black Americans to succeed in without competition. It ain't no different than being on the plantation. It's the same thing. Why are we not understanding that these football teams, these basketball teams, these, I don't know about baseball, but I'm going to say these baseball teams are nothing more than what we had on the plantation, different tribes of people put up against each other. They used to bring in ring fighters. You've seen it on the Django, whatever that movie is, Django. It really doesn't matter how they did it, but what matters is why they're not part of the African community. Black folks, a lot of black men, but many of them are not part of us anymore. Once they got that $1 million, they went and married a white, or they went and moved to the white neighborhood. And you don't think that they're white neighborhoods still? I've watched in my lifetime, in the places I've lived in 6 different states for years. These people have, black people moving, be the only black in the neighborhood. Next thing you know, white folks moving out. You start seeing houses go up for sale. I've seen this happen. I sound jealous. There's no reason to be jealous, my friend. I am successful in America. I made it through all the negativity, prejudice, and the racist incidents. I'm the only person alive today that can say that they have suffered 5 Article 15. And if you were in the military, you know what 5 Article 15 is. You know what an Article 15 is, which is a uniform code of military justice action. This is the jealousy. I had to fight these people on those sides, and I never would accept either one of them. And I got every single one of those set aside, which gave me the opportunity to stay in the military for years and retire as a first officer. So there's so much going on behind the scenes that you don't even know. It may sound angry, it may look angry, but I'm not in that area. You can call it what you want, but this is, that's all. I can get in this session and start talking about what I'm doing, who I am, why I'm doing it. And I can also be excited about it. I can be passionate about it. I can be calm, cool, and collected about it. I can be any way I want about it. I didn't move the black folks moved. Now what? You're a good person. Thank you, Coach. I'm not targeting everybody, and I'm not going to sit here and say I got white friends. What I'm going to say is I can get along with you. I can get along with anybody. I can get along with Arab. I can get along with Chinese. It's about mutual respect. I can feel your vibe. I can feel your spirit because I feel like I've been blessed with that. And if I ever met you and shook your hand, I would know how you felt about me. You can ask Black real bad. Ain't no damn ribeye. You're a porterhouse. Let me go ahead. Anyway, those Confederate soldiers became the governors of Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, North Carolina. They became governors of those states. And when they became governors of those states, they went right back to being the domineers of the state the way they were. When they decided to do the Voting Rights Act and all black folks could vote, even though they had to fight against getting in there and vote, a passionate discussion of race, history, and black experience. That's what this is. They had to fight to go in and vote, but 22 black people won seats in Mississippi. The first year the Voting Rights Act was passed. The very next year, white folks fixed that. This was in Mississippi. Mississippi ain't never, since that first election, had more than what they had on that very first year. Those 22 black people to win. But they only lasted 1 year. I'm surrounded by black neighbors and neighbors. I gave my class code to my house and to a black dude. Like I say, I'm not targeting you or anybody. There are great white people. I'm telling you, there are great white people. I just say that there are more. No, I ain't gonna say there is a lot of black people, a lot of white people that still have racist tendencies. So I'm going to tell you how it works. This is how I can decide easily. This is something Muhammad Ali said a long time ago. He said, in front of you are 10,000 rifles. 10,000 coming at you. You don't know, there are five black snakes in there that come at you, but you don't know which one they are. The other 900,000, other 9,000 are good people. So how do you decide which ones to be faithful and trust? Because you don't know which five are right. You don't know which one's going to bite you. There's some everywhere. I don't care how great you are. I mean, you're a great man. I commend you. I do know that put 20 people around you, you're going to pull at least three races out of that 20. Like, if you're white, I don't know what color you are and don't care. I just know that this is the reality of the situation. We bring truth to light. Racism, because of people keep letting be subject, is profitable. Racism don't like it. I don't. I guess that's why they do it. They keep it going. Racism may never stop. It never has stopped. You have been on the melanated side, not Indian, not Arab, not Chinese, but descendant of a slave. You had 300, almost 400 years of struggle of trying to be who you are. If I was given the opportunity to do the things that I knew I could do, that I knew I could do, then I'm having to fight the obstacles. Even me, I opened a business, and they didn't want me to open that business before, but they jacked me around so many times. I did an electrical job in the top of the building, and the electrical inspector came back and told me, "Oh, you got to change the wire." Now the wire had three wires in a metal case. The difference was, he said, you need to change the wire because the wire was blue, was silver instead of blue. He said they have to be blue. So we changed those wires overnight, calling back the next day to pass inspection. Then I go down to get my certificate of occupancy. And I get down to the city, and I should have a certificate of occupancy for 126 people. The lady wrote me up. Well, she didn't want to give it to me at first, so I had to go get the fire chief upstairs, downstairs, and tell her to give me a certificate of occupancy. So he did that. And so rather than her putting 126 people on there, she put 26 people on my certificate of occupancy, knowing she was wrong. And I just took it with a grain of salt. I put it up in my establishment. I didn't give a damn about how many people was there. And I was waiting until you open the capacity so I could fight it. It never happened because they know that was with all the space I had. I do think Democrats are the problem. I think both the Democrats and the Republicans are the problem. All the politicians are the problem. If you got a politician that sits there more than 3 or 4 times, they need to They need to go. They need to get out because they've been there too long. That is why Donald Trump is president right now. He said no black person right now. That's a good one. I like that. Because if you ain't got that in your corner, it's going to be very difficult for you to keep that business where you need to be. Because they're going to tax the hell out of you and they're going to inspect the hell out of you, and you're going to have to meet everything on the perfect unless you got that right man. We're not being heard. We're being seen of you. We're not seen. We're being, and being viewed is almost like we're dead already. We're the walking dead. It's the difference for white business. It is different for white business. What do you mean it's different? What's different for white businesses? being uh, viewed is already putting you in a tent that you really can't get out of until you're actually being viewed. We're being viewed as living people. We should be seen as living people, but we're not. Safety codes and all that other stuff. You're right. They turned me up. I had to fight them people step away until I got it. We can't keep being viewed as we walk up this way. We got to start being viewed or seen. If you don't know it by now, there is something called a D list in America, and we have to do something about that because the African American and Black make up that list. They do. That's pretty sad. But our biggest issue is we don't want to hear the truth, and when we do hear the truth, we want to fight it. Just like I was just into the conversation with somebody earlier. I own my business since 2003, but I'm white. It is different from Black business. Yes, you are. I appreciate you saying that. Steve Klima. I hope I got it. Clement. You're right. It is different. Black people have to follow the letter of the law on their businesses. They don't get loans the way they should, but they do get loans, but they get them at different interest rates. All you see, I can come up with 100 things that are different from Black people. See, every Sunday, like today, 27 million Black people, approximately 27 million Black people, sit in some church today, and they're paying somebody for the show that they're going to get because that's what they're going to get is a show, and then they're going to get a little bit of information that's going to take them home, saying, "Oh, we had a great service today. That preacher showed his butt up there today," and that's exactly what he's doing, showing his butt up there. And, not all of them, but there are some good preachers too. It was $35 for my business license. you doing damn good to do business license. I really hope that most people start hearing the truth that I put out here, that we don't have to fight the message. Don't fight the message. Don't fight the message, and don't fight the messenger. Because to let the truth be told, we bring truth to power here at the People's Information and News Network. That's what we do. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like us. Make sure you talk to us on Facebook too. What is it we need? I'm going to be honest with you. I can tell you what we knew. What we really need. I grew up in Alabama. I went to church every Saturday, and hey, yeah, you get indoctrinated into something that you don't even know if that's what you really want to be part of once you get old enough to make your own decision. Then I helped the older lady who lost her husband. Now, of course, I would do the same thing. I would cut her grass, keep groceries in the house. A lot of times people don't like to ask him because they know how dirty people are these days. But you can help people like that. Be a good citizen in the neighborhood. That's just good. I think one of the things that we really have to do when it comes to Black and white, and Black and Chinese, and Black and anybody else, because I'm still upset about what happened with that Black kid, that 14-year-old kid, and they acquitted that Chinese man. But we don't have the ability to communicate past getting pissed off and just walking away from the meeting. And then the church called her to stand up in the church. Hey, that's the problem. I seen a little skit the other day. That's because she brought a God membership. I haven't been to a white church since. I hear you, man. Yeah, they don't care if you blame a lady. If you ban, you show them your W2. You don't get to understand it at that church, at any church, in most churches. I walked out and we went to a black church. I hear you. Black churches ain't very much different. They want your money too. They do it. They do a little bit better show for your money, but they want your money too. I say again, we got to communicate like we're doing right now. We got to communicate. And if black and white can't communicate, we ain't never gonna get along. So I'm really sorry that that's one of our biggest issues. That's what we need. We need better communication. We also need to be able to compromise. I may not like you. You may not like people, and the cook cannot be. That's good. If we could. I mean, I wrote something earlier today, and I said if a woman listens to a man, the relationship will last. Now, why do I say that? Ain't too many men gonna get talked bad to by their spouse. That's a man and a woman. And I'm saying, if you want a relationship to last, that's how it has to go. And even though the man may not object to you being the way you are, you questioning you, but that's just the way it's supposed to be. I understand that. I'm sorry to hear that. A woman has to listen to her man. He may be wrong, but you have to listen to him if you want your relationship to last. And see that caveat there? See, that's why I say you have to have the ability to compromise if you want your relationship to last. Not the man got to compromise too. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to be in that situation. You have to be able to compromise. The other thing that I want to say is we have to have the ability to father a child. Now, anybody can have a baby, but I'm saying father a child. Now, when the federal government is stacking the deck against you building a family, families control country. So America destroys families because they want the government to control the country. Now, if you can't see how these little things that they do create problems for the family, then you don't see what I'm seeing. Welfare was the very first major thing that destroyed families. Now, welfare was not created for black people. I'm just a guy that grew up in Alabama, a certain way. I saw some BS in white churches. I seen it. I've been to white churches too. I've seen it in black churches more than I've seen it in white churches. Because I really haven't gotten into what's going on in the white church, but I got deep into what's going on in the black church. So I know. When I say the ability to father a child, I don't mean making babies. I mean being there every step of the way for that child. Being there to help that child become a good kid, a good teenager, and a good adult. When you look at Generation Z, I think that's the generation out there now. These kids ain't got no damn manners. They just as wild as a bunch of damn dogs with no damn body to train. They are out there, they're running and gunning, and they're tearing up everything in their path, and they don't have a clue how they're gonna live on their parents' pay. They don't know how they're gonna survive. They're gonna fight over the parents and stuff. Then they're gonna alienate each other. They're not gonna be able to compromise. I'm hoping that this is the generation that we start to focus on because they're the ones who need the help. They're the ones who want inherit this planet when the big DT gets done. And don't get me wrong, now I am glad that he's doing this country, not the country, but the White House the way he's doing it, because we've been complacent for 300 years. They've had everything so smooth. They had everybody trying to act like they British or something up there and compromise. And everything went buck wild when Barack Obama became president. That's when everything changed. Because that's the first time I ever in life seen the president of the United States disrespected by somebody sitting in Congress. They said, you lie, you lie. I don't know who did it, but somebody did it. And that's the damn shame that we had to see it on the black president. And he left this country in the best condition it had ever been in. And now look where we are. We keep talking about this deal between Iraq and America. You can forget that. There will not be a deal. Every week, the deal is almost done. Every week, we're going to have a deal. But see, they don't realize in this little city in in the middle of Oklahoma, north of Oklahoma City, that is the hub of the reserve for oil in America. They store millions of gallons of oil. You can see a sea of containers. And then when you take an aerial view of those containers, you'll notice that the top they're down at least halfway. In other words, they are down to like 22 million gallons of oil in those tankers right now. 22 million gallons. Now, they go critical when they hit 20 million gallons. My God, I want to go to war and buy all the way on my son of me. Joe drained that. Joe drained that. He didn't even touch the reserve. DT opened up the reserves when the straits got closed down, and now you see where we are. You see where we are. But you can't be that stupid. They keep blaming Joe Biden. He was just the last president. Stop, don't be stupid, man. Come on, man. Open up your mind and really look at what's happening. That tells me you don't research. You just listen. I don't give a damn about Democrat nor Republican. So when you try to blame one or the other, it's all of them. Not just Joe or not just DT. It's every last one of them. It's not just Obama. Every one of them has a play in what's happening in the country right now. Because if they were real and they did their jobs, we wouldn't be facing this gas prices we're facing. We wouldn't be facing these tariffs that we're facing. We would not be facing the failure to communicate with countries that are right next door. You know, Canada just finished a brand new bridge to go from Detroit to Canada. It's ready. They had the grand opening set for last week. DT said not no, but hell to the no. Let it happen. All the oil was there because we sell millions of gallons of diesel. Values. All right. The ability to father that child is important. And the reason we can't do it is because the federal government don't like families. And not only black families, they're going to white families too. Nobody said anything about the 200,000 Ukrainians that came over here 40 years ago when the war started with Russia. There were a lot of Ukrainians over there, and every single one of them were white. Nobody said anything about the 50,000 South Africans they brought over here and set them up on welfare and gave them checks every month for the next year. You know, ain't nobody saying nothing about that. That joke, they did it though, didn't they? That's Trump. Blame Joe. Joe's just an old dude that's gone home. Leave Joe alone. I don't know why you keep blaming Joe everything when you know Joe ain't had nothing to do with it. That is so funny. It's almost like looking at me and saying, "Hey, I'm telling you, I'm a white man, and you just act like you don't understand your color." Is that what it is? Yeah, he shut the borders, but look what happened when he did that. He put all the people that picked cucumbers, the tomatoes, he sent them home. Now we paying what? Instead of paying 10 cents for a tomato, paying $1.80. I'm white, but I see that the United States, I see the United States, I understand. Me too. I try not to because I don't allow it to personally affect me, but I do feel just like everybody else. No, I'm not saying illegal cheap labor. I'm saying that illegals are people that help this society, and guess who capitalized on those? You don't see no illegals working for a black man, do you? Answer that question. Do you see any illegals out there in the fields working for a black man? No, you don't. They're all working for the white man. So they ain't hurting us when they cleaning up the borders. When you shut down the borders. Of course, it needed to happen. So give that man a handshake or a clap or a medal for shutting down the border. Who gives a damn? It ain't shut down in 100 years. It still ain't shut down. There's more immigrants coming over here now than ever. You just don't know. They just can't catch them. They caught what, one tunnel? I think it's only one tunnel that goes into Tijuana. Never knew the owns of a farm I buy local. You go to a farm, you go to the grocery store, you think you're gonna always be able to get tomatoes, chicken, uh, beef, steaks, whatever you want to get. But in 3 days, if something happens, you got 3 days. And in 3 days, most of us will panic. So not us, not me. I ain't gonna say I'm a prepper, but I ain't stupid either. You have to know what your next plan is. And if you ain't got no water, what you gonna do? Drink cool water like they did in the movie? You gotta have the ability, my man, to break away from that slave teaching. Never knew the owners of the farm. But what I'm saying about slave teaching, I'm saying that if all you're doing is what was taught to you on the plantation and you're still doing it in 2026, you're a damn fool. It's that damn simple. Everything was taught to you on the plantation was taught to make you a good Negro. I almost used that word. To make you a good Negro. To keep you afraid to stand for yourself. Everything is what master. And when master can't keep you control you, can give you a bigger master up in the sky that you can't never see. And you claim God told me, and you a damn lie. God ain't told you nothing. It happens all the time. And you sit there and you let somebody just lie to you, and you act like it's okay. You can't just lie to me and me sit there and act like it's okay. And that's probably why I don't go to church right now, even though I'm studying to get my PhD in theology. That's an oxymoron. See, I laugh at myself too. Anyway, these slave mentalities that were taught to us on the plantation were taught for control, and it's still working in 2026. It's still working in 2026. We are still under slave mentalities. When you got 27 million of us going to church every day, and we got a church every 200 yards, when do the churches do something together? They don't. Everybody is for themselves. I told you we teach individuality and individualism in America. That's a slave teaching. Don't go to that plantation over there. You'll catch the lumps or catch some disease. So don't go over there. Don't listen to this person because he's gonna corrupt your mind. You hear all these things on the plantation. I don't know. I ain't never been there, but I can imagine what people learn and still do. But and you got to keep going with it. You know, this has been a journey that I enjoy. And I'm gonna always be here on Sunday if I'm physically able to tell you something of my thoughts for the week because my brain be flying and I don't have a very specific format and I don't have any sponsors and I'm not asking anybody to pay me for what I do, but I do accept donations. So I put that on the bottom of the screen. If you decide to make a donation to our forum, it does help because these platforms are not cheap. We have grown to accept what the pilgrims have given us. We don't fight for what we know is right, allow whatever happens to happen without consequences. There are consequences. Out of all people in the world today, I'm blown away to see the name of this person. Go right ahead, Ty. What you say? How did enslaved people think of the teach and learn white laws and black education? See, that's the thing. We can do this. No matter, you can put anything you want in front of us. You cannot stop us from becoming the winners and the leaders and the kings and queens that we know we are. You can do what you want to do. It doesn't matter because you cannot stop a train. And that's what we are. If you eliminate that slave teaching and start following what's right, you won't have any problems in front of you. You can forget about the problem behind you. Just do the right thing. And when I say do the right thing, I'm not talking about do what Mr. Billy told you to do. That don't make it right just because he got a law saying do this. I guarantee you there's a law that can contradict it, just like there is in the Constitution. In the Fifth Amendment, it tells you that the federal government will not take anything from you. But that eminent domain come around, they're gonna take your land and put your ass on the other side over there. They don't give a damn about you. They know what they want. They're gonna do what they want. And our job is to not allow them to take us to that level. Our job is to be as successful as we can be and the best way we can be and to learn everything we can. And that is exactly why I'm here discussing the topic that I discussed. They did block us from learning how to read. There were laws still on the books in Georgia a few years ago saying you cannot read a book. But you know they hadn't enforced it. Nobody said anything. Somebody ran across it. What you say? I didn't see that. You said I'm fighting for my people, but they play it. I got you. I don't quite understand that, but I got you. All right. Slave teaching. We have grown to accept without consequence. And are you being seen or are you being viewed? That is the question. And is your name on the dead list? I hope it's not. The only way we're going to win in this situation today is to fight a bullet with a bullet. In other words, bullet coming this way at yours coming that way, and you hit it head on. That is how we stop. No other way. You let little bitty subtle racist movements, subtle racist words get by, and those little bitty subtle racist words and those subtle racist things start to get bigger because the people start to get comfortable doing these things because you let them do it and laugh about it and act like it was a joke. It ain't no damn joke. It's real. Stand your ground. Your mama made a man. Where was your daddy? Where was your daddy? You ask me. We learned the alphabet. They taught us how to spell, but we did it for a reason. There's a mental health aspect going on here too. And if you're afraid of your thoughts, then you're in the wrong form. Because I'm here to express my thoughts and hopefully yours. If you got something to say, I want to hear it. If you think what you say is wrong, then join in and let's talk about it. They thought they had me. I just played the Bible out of them. You go, oh God, help me, Jesus. I got you. This is the last thing I'm gonna say on my close. I'm getting ready to close. Can mental health be cured? That's a question I'm asking you. Can mental health be cured? Can death be prevented? How long do you want? You scared to ask yourself that question, I'm sure. How long do you want? Our biggest issue is the inability to cooperate. When we start to work together and cooperate and compromise when we come to an impasse, we will be all right. But we can't keep doing it alone. We got to start getting it together with somebody and making it work. After all the oppression, crazy ain't the word. Ain't the word I'm saying. I'm with you. I've been insane, man. Tell the son of man, I've been insane. It puts you in a position to be that way unless you're in la la land. You're either gonna be insane or you're gonna be in la la land. Everything's all right. If everything's all right, I wouldn't have to be working the hell out of my ass every 5 days a week from 8 to or whatever, or not 6 to whatever hours you may work. Why can't I take a week off when I get ready and still get paid? Why don't I have enough money to sustain me for the next year or two or three? Or why is there one man with $1 billion or $1 trillion in his bank account? What the F do we need $1 trillion? How many people can you give everybody on the planet $1,000 to be happy? Still have a bunch of money. Still have a bunch of money. Now they're talking about paying the January 6th people just like they did the Confederate soldiers when the Civil War was over. They paid them and gave them new positions, states. All they had to do was take the oath of amnesty, which all the slaves that came off the plantation did not take the oath of amnesty, which put them in a position to not be citizens of the United States. And then you come along with the 14th Amendment saying this is how you became a citizen. That's a damn lie. They never ever mention you. When I say you, they never mentioned me in anything because at the time all of that was written, I was a slave. My genes were a slave. And the only reason I'm where I am today is because my ancestors had genes that allowed me to survive to this level. If they didn't have the gene structure and the setup of the body makeup or whatever they were, I would not be here. This is something that's very, very important. You know, our ancestors are the only reason we're here today. But just think about all the people that are their entire family line is on the extinct. Everybody in that family dead. Not alive. When you have a strong line of people, a strong gene, you have survived all of that. Everything that happened to them happened to me because I'm the genes of them. So I have some of the pain that they suffer. So do you. You may think that because you're right, you got it right, but white people suffer too with money. Just because you got money, that don't stop your suffering, brother, sister. So you're the same as anybody else. The same as anybody else. This is the People's Information and News Network. And I want to say thank you all so much for coming to listen to me rip and rant about whatever the hell I'm talking about. Now, brother, let them play with us now on the beast. I hear you, the son of man. Let them try. We don't play that game no more. We ain't got time for that. We here to succeed, and we don't need you in our way. And I was gonna say something a while ago about this. Remember about how the church people go to church every Sunday, and we got 27 million black folks in church today donating money to the church. So Monday morning, what's gonna happen? They're gonna get up and take that money down to Mr. Billy's bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase Bank. Oh, by the way, Chase Bank is the reason he is in right now. So they take that money down to the church, turn it in, millions of dollars of black folks' money going into Mr. Billy's bank, and then somebody from the church go down there to get a loan so they can open a business, hell to the no. You done been donating to this church for the last 30 years. The church been giving that money to the bank for the last 50 years. Bank ain't gave nobody in that damn church a single loan since they opened their damn account. Not a single person got a loan from that church. But all that money from that church has been put in that bank. And that's why I say black people, African American people are gullible as fuck. Me get off. I'm upset. I'm really getting upset now. I start thinking about all that money that they giving to them and not holding them accountable for it. We've grown to accept without accountability. And that's where we are today. And that's where the People's Information and News Network will be signing off. And I want to say thank you so much for being a participant, a listener, an engager, and see you next Sunday at 5 p.m. with another story